Welcome back, everybody. It's Sven Hosford with another edition of the Journal of Lifestyle Medicine with a series we're calling I'm Alive Because of Anyana Kai. And I am truly alive because of Anyana Kai. 3 years ago, had a mold-induced heart attack. It was more like a mold attack than a heart attack. I walked out of the emergency room and went to Toledo, stayed in the clinic for a month, and as you can see, 3 years later, still vertical, still above ground, doing really good. And so we wanted to put this series together as a tribute to all the healers and those who've been healed there at Anyana Kai. So today with us, we have Tanya Walker. She's one of the attendants, one of the medicine women. How are you doing today, Tanya?
I'm doing great, Son. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. We have a little bit of history. Tanya was my attendant on the daily colonics that I did. It was a part of the therapy that helped get tons of mucus and mold out of my system. You remember those days, Tanya, doing that daily routine?
Yes, I remember them well.
That was your first chance to attend to somebody who was getting a daily colonic, is that right?
That's correct. That was correct. And during that period, we learned just how powerful doing a short-term daily colonic could actually be as far as getting toxins out of the body and restoring some balance in the body.
I recently found the blog post that I wrote about it, and it was amazing that, you know, the first few days it was just, well, I guess we're gonna have to talk about this way anyway, it's just fecal matter. And then it went through like a week of mostly mucus, where the mucus was so thick it wouldn't even come out the nozzle, and we'd have to stop at halftime and let me evacuate so we could continue to do the colonic. And then it went into a stage of really getting deep into where the parasites were and all sorts of things. You remember how my body changed over that period of time?
Oh yes, you lost quite a bit of weight. You slimmed down. Your color got better. You even had some like spider vein issues on your feet. And I know we were doing some F&G and other things with that, but they diminished significantly as well.
Yeah. And I like to joke, I think I went from a C cup to an A cup during that time as well.
Yes.
But I just remember that after each time, you know, I felt so enlivened. I felt so blissful sometimes, you know. After about 2 weeks of it, you really start to notice the difference before and after as far as the energy level and the frequency of your whole body. You experienced that kind of thing after a colonic as well?
Yes, I've had various experiences. It can be different. It's never the same usually, but sometimes, you know, you can be a little tired at first, maybe a little gassy, but then usually the next day or two you'll get a burst of energy. People feel lighter, more clear-headed. I've actually had people come back after one colonic and tell me how their skin cleared up, which makes sense because it is taking some burden off the liver because we use the coffee in them.
Do you want to explain how that works, how the coffee stimulates the liver?
When you do coffee and colonics, it stimulates the liver to release the toxins that it's currently holding. And then with the water, you just flush the colon out so you get the toxins out. It also stimulates the liver to produce glutathione, which is an antioxidant that also helps in the detoxification process.
What kind of other healing situations have you seen with some of the clientele there?
Well, I first went to Anyana Kai in August of 2009. My boyfriend had found it and insisted that I go there because my health had been steadily declining over the previous year. I had been going to my regular general practitioner who had me on a cycle of kind of going in. You know, I didn't have health insurance at the time, so it was like $120 a visit. I'd go in and I'd tell him my symptoms, he'd write me a script and tell me to come back in 2 weeks. That went on for a good year. Many different prescriptions, my quality of life, steadily on the downslide. So my boyfriend had found Anyana Kai, and I went in there and I had what we call a vitamin consultation done. And it's where they hooked me up on a biofeedback system, which showed many different things, that I wasn't digesting my food or absorbing my nutrients, which pretty important when you're trying to be healthy. It also showed me that I was exposed to black mold, which I never heard of before. But, there was a great book that they recommended to me from Dr. Richie Shoemaker on mold, and they got me on a protocol for it, and I started doing that, and then my quality of life started getting better over time. Now I'm completely restored. I don't have any of those symptoms. And I'm really grateful for that experience, because before that, I didn't really know anything about eating healthy and preventative maintenance on your body so you don't get dis-ease in the body. But that kind of got me started on a path with that. And all of the symptoms that I had when I originally went there, I no longer have. I had insomnia. I had terrible sinusitis, headaches all the time. I would have to go to the emergency room to get injections because I would get migraines triggered from my sinus headaches. And now, it's 9 years later, and I take no over-the-counter medicine. I handle everything naturally. I don't really have any chronic states of any kind of symptoms like that. So that was the biggest thing for me. And I've seen that over and over, since you were there with your situation with the mold, and you did a couple videos with Charmaine. We've had people all over the country, and even people from Canada contact us, and, we've been able to help them with their health issues they felt strongly that it was due to mold because it was very similar to the symptoms. So I've seen that. There was an incident one time, a gentleman had a spider bite. His foot swelled up. He started getting the red blood poisoning line up his leg. And, that went away. Now it takes dedication from the person, and it takes commitment and to actually follow the protocol and do what it takes. There isn't a magic pill, but his leg was saved, everything was healed up. That was one. We've had 3 different people that had strokes come in, and that was dealt with, and none of the 3 had any lasting, side effects from the strokes either. Personally, myself, I also had some cardiovascular issues, and my blood pressure would become very erratic. It got up to, I think, like 200 over 120 or 150, something like that. My pulse was close to 200. And, I had a few really pretty scary weeks there. I made a personal choice to go to Anyana Kai and not go to an emergency room. I believe in the natural medicine. I believe that is what has worked for me. So I decided to stay there. And when it really came down to it, when you don't know if you're going to die or not, the question that I asked myself was, I kind of played the tape through. If I go to the hospital, they're going to whisk me down some room by myself. I'm going to be surrounded by these strangers. And if I die, that's how I'm going to go. Do I want that? And the answer was no. If I die, if it's my time to die, then I want to be here at Anyana Kai, surrounded by all these people that are my family, that I love and I know love me. And I was at peace with that. But it wasn't my time to go, and here I am. And everything, all the natural remedies are what stabilized me because I was critical. And I'm healthier than ever right now.
Well, I'm very glad that you stayed because
Yeah.
you had a big impact on my life. But I think you really touched on one of the key things about Anyana Kai is that there's a decision made, and that decision is that you're going to be the captain of your own ship. You're going to guide your own health destiny. You're going to make the decisions about what it goes into your body, what goes on your body, what kind of treatments you get. And it seems like the people that come to Anyana Kai have either been given up on by the medical system. I mean, I can't even remember how many times I've heard, yeah, they sent me home to die, sometimes more than once, and here I am still. So the system gave up on them, or they gave up on the system. Like I gave up on the system, walked out of an emergency room. You chose to stay there when you had your healing crisis. Do you see that as
Yeah.
a large part or a significant part of the people that come through Anyana Kai?
Yeah, that's the majority of people that come through Anyana Kai. Some people, they are just, they're aware of the natural and they're into preventative, and we get people like that. But the majority of the people have been told there's nothing else that can be done for them. And so what happens is they go online and they're, you know, they want to heal themselves. They want to get better. So they start doing some research. And a lot of times in that research, our church will come up. And so they come in, they sign a supplicant, they get a tour, they see what we're about, and they give that a try. You know, first and foremost, we're a Native American church, a private Native American church. And with that, our belief is that we're stewards of the planet, and it's our responsibility to, you know, help maintain the health of the planet, which includes all life on it. So that's what we do. Every person that comes through the door gets a supplicant, which states what we are and what we do, and they're very much aware of that. And at that point, that is a personal choice that they are making.
But at no time have I ever heard anyone say you shouldn't go get a treatment, or you shouldn't go get a diagnosis, or you shouldn't go get a test. Everything you do there is done in harmony with the traditional medicine up to the point that the person involved wants to be involved in it, right?
Yeah. Yes. Most of our members, a lot of our members, I would say, maybe not most, but a lot of our members do have other allopathic physicians that they also see for checkups, and you know, they go out and get blood tests and different testing done, and we work in conjunction with that. No one is ever told not to seek anything, because we support the person's right to choose how they want to deal with their health, and you know, we respect and support that, whatever that may be.
And again, I think that's really the big difference. You go tell your traditional doctor that you want to make all the final decisions, and he's just a helper. They don't like that. They like the word compliance. That means you obey me and you do what I tell you to do, and you do it right away, and you do 3 bags full. And so I think that's the biggest problem that traditional medicine has with your kind of attitude, is that you're encouraging people to take responsibility for their own health.
Correct, we do, because at the end of the day, you're going to be the one suffering the consequences or the benefits of your choices.
Yeah.
And to be educated and knowledgeable about, you know, in general ways, how the body works and what supports the body for good health, you know, I feel that's something everyone should have.
Yeah. And I should say that it's not just people on their last legs or you know, really in dire needs that come there. I mean, we were there this last weekend, and you have a couple of guys there that are obviously, you know, college or pro athletes. I mean, or working towards being that. There's guys in there that really know how to take care of their body, and they come to your place for the education and the special services. You see a lot of that too, right? Yes,
we do. Charmaine, you know, always being an athlete her whole life, she has a lot of knowledge that those type of people, individuals, seek out, and she helps them whether they want to get an edge in whatever sport they're competing in, or just to be, their healthiest self.
Well, is there anything else you want to make sure we talk about Anyana Kai? Any way that really brings home the fact that you're still alive because of Anyana Kai?
Like I said, I have none of the mold issues that I had before. And when I first went there, I basically could wake up in the morning, take a shower, and that's all the energy I had for the whole day. And that went on for months. With learning about eating properly, eliminating toxic things that I was putting on my body and in my body, cleaning up my air quality at home, my health improved tremendously. I mean, I can't stress it enough. But then even in the more critical factor, when I was having some issues there, Charmaine, like I said, she spent countless hours on me, wee hours of the morning. At one point, she even had taken me to her home, my boyfriend and I, to her home, so I could be right there with her all night. I totally support her and her vision because she wants to help people. And that's her only, she knows what her purpose is, and that's what she focuses on. Some people, we're not a fit for them because they come in and we don't look like a beautiful day spa, but that's not what we're about. We're about helping people. So any donations that we get, that goes back into helping people. And because a lot of the people are very chronic and very sick when they come there, there's a lot of charity services, ceremonies going on. So it's just a matter of priorities, and the beautification of our building isn't one of them. It's helping people.
Right.
So
right.
I guess that kind of sums it up.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the subject of mold. Charmaine and I are going to update the mold video. So she's learned a few things and streamlined the protocol a little bit. So
yeah.
Hopefully you'll be seeing even more people now coming through to deal with the mold issue, because it is an ongoing issue. I came home and found black mold coming out of my ceiling this last weekend. So
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. You're going to be seeing a lot more of me.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Well, Tanya, it's been really great having you with us. I've really enjoyed talking with you.
I always enjoy talking with you too, Sven.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. So that'll do it for this episode of I'm Alive because of Anyana Kai here on the Journal of Lifestyle Medicine. I'm Sven Hosford. Let's go get healthy out there.